Let's see, we got Marcial joining in. Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. Um, it's kind of
Where are
like a
you
net.
based?
I'm in New York. How about you?
Oh, in LA.
LA?
It's warmer here.
I'm jealous,
No,
man.
but I've been under the weather anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what's up? Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yeah, you say it right. Yeah, I'm pretty new to this environment, and I think you're one of the first people to start following on Substack. Very inspiring because I was trying to do my own thing. I work in the fresh produce industry, which is a very old-fashioned industry, and but I know at some point it's gonna change. I see more young people jumping in this. It's a huge industry. We supply food everywhere, right? Uh, so right now I start my series of um, newsletters on Substack, kind of addressing the fresh produce, and obviously ChatGPT is the way that I'm using to kind of formalize my ideas and give it the freedom. But it gets difficult sometimes. It's very interesting that people think, oh, because you're using AI, then your thoughts are right there, right? It doesn't
Right,
work like that.
right.
So I wanted to know about your learn more about your own experience, about your own writing, and then I have a specific question. What is your take between the projects on ChatGPT versus the uh, uh, GP? Is that the GPT? I lost it. Yeah, the GPTs. You know the I start using building my GPTs for a specific project, but it becomes pretty annoying that then you lose track. It creates a new chat box. So I haven't really found the real or value of the GPTs within
Okay,
chat GPT.
got it. So basically, where can we start? So I think like there's actually a pretty easy answer to that question. So first of all, obviously make sure you have your memory turned on, right? When you're using ChatGPT, there's a settings button and you turn on the memory. And basically that makes it remember you as an individual, your interests, and your chats. And typically, when you do that, it will have a better memory across chats. At the same time, I think it's actually a good thing to when you're building something, whether it's a newsletter, an app, or whatever it may be, to use the same chat, even if it's for months on end. Um, when you stay in one chat, even with memory turned on, the flow will be much better if you stay within that single chat for what you're building. In terms of how I work
Talking
with
about
it,
projects, right? And within projects, you have your own. You can have
right? Yeah, but
chat,
like,
right?
yeah, well, basically, like, also in regards to, you said that you're also building your own GPTs. Is
Yeah.
that what you mentioned? So yeah, I don't have any experience with that. Basically, my workflow is basically just ChatGPT. I use Dolly for image generation, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be discontinuing soon, unfortunately. Um, but basically, I think in general, like if you're on the OpenAI platform and using ChatGPT, number one thing is to make sure memory is turned on, and then the more you use it, the more it will flow better for you. To put it simply, um, and then in terms of like, so what you mentioned about you know what people's opinions are on how you use I think it's a completely individual experience. But so I post daily, right? And something that comes with that is I can't always come up with ideas, right? So on the days that I do come up with ideas, in between work, in between lunch, whatever it may be, I will open my phone, I will open my notes and write the idea down, bullet points and take it from there, and then I'll plug that into ChatGPT and build the article. And I will always ask for proper references and cite them properly as well. So because AI can make mistakes, right? So basically, that's when I come up with ideas. When I can't come up with an idea and the day flies by and then I wake up, it's the next day. That's where the memory of AI comes into play because it knows what my newsletter is about. It knows what my interests are, and so I can ask it to come up with ideas for me, and then I can
Now,
use
are
those.
you finding between topics, let's say last week you wrote on a specific topic and then it came up uh, beautifully and it takes you, let's say you invested a couple hours on the edits and putting your tone in there.
Uh,
And then the next one, it doesn't flow in the same way. Are you having those conflicts where uh, ChatGPT is getting your tone really away from what you really want to say or the way that you want to say it and how you bring it back to your tone? Because that's my difficulty right now that it happens to me last week. I had a topic, I thought the idea, the prompt, etc. And it wrote me 3 pages. I was like, wow, this is really me saying this. But then for this week's newsletter, it's completely off. And we are fighting literally for each other. Like I want to bring it back to my tone, what I want to say, and it keeps kind of putting me away from my idea. Or not my idea, but my tone, I would say.
your tone, yeah. So that's a really good point. Sometimes it's hard because you're going back and forth with it, and it's not giving you what you want. I think so. The first thing to note is, um, I find that sometimes it flows better again when I'm in the same chat. Let's say that newsletter that you wrote last week. Are you in the same chat when you're doing today's newsletter?
I'm not in the same chat just because I have my newsletter split in three main topics. So I'm writing within the same newsletter about three topics that relate to one
So
thing that is
basically, you have like
speaking.
so you have like for each topic you have a new chat.
Yes, I have a I have a chat for each of those three topics. So what I did is, okay, here are my two previous newsletter. I place it in there. So I'm saying this is my tone. This is what I want to be on now for this new topic.
Got it. So yeah, so I will say it might be better if you actually in terms of the tonality, it might be better if you stay in the same chat, even if you're switching topics.
Got it.
Um, and then also like
That's a
you
good advice. I will try that.
definitely. So you know how like each chat also has like a title, like on the left side of the page, each chat has like whatever
Yeah.
title that it generated for it. So you can say, and I've seen this before too, like even with things not related to my newsletter, um, it will give you two completely different outputs for a similar question, two completely different flows for a similar question with different results. And then you can ask it, well, why did you in this chat come up with this result, and on this chat it's completely different. So that's why it is. I think it's great to really stay in the same chat and like keep that flow. And
Yeah.
also, it's an important point that like if you want to use AI to help you write, you still have to know how to write because the best way that I found is in order to post every day the way that I do. If I was writing on my own without the help of AI, I wouldn't be able to do it unless it was my full time job. So basically, once you know how to write and you know how to write in your tone, you can you can use that as your prompt and say, here's my tone. Here's how I would have written this. Here's a few paragraphs. Here's the introduction, conclusion. Paste that in there, and then it'll get an idea of how you write. So that's basically my answer to that question. If you don't mind, before we continue the conversation, I'm just going to read through a couple of these chats here
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
if it
Please.
brings
And if
anything
there
up.
is anyone else that want to jump in, and yeah,
Yeah,
of
definitely.
course.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is we can have more than one person in here. So let's see, let's go up a little bit here. Um, okay, so Ralph Carabetta says thoughts on best AI for image creation. I use Dolly. Um, it's been the best for me, and usually, like, instead of trying to prompt for the image myself, I'll have the article done already, and then I'll just copy paste a section from the article and ask for an image for that section, and usually it comes up a lot better. It's much more descriptive that way. Let's see. Ash King says, I see endless people, influencers, etc., making all kinds of promises of making money by utilizing AI. I realize this is a discussion about ChatGPT, but has anyone on here managed to monetize ChatGPT or other AI platforms where that'd be $10 a week or even $100 a month? Yeah, I've done it here on Substack. I think that no matter what you're building with AI, and actually my article from today kind of touches on this. I think that AI has definitely broken down the barrier of starting, but most people don't cross the finish line. So even though taking the first step can be half the battle, you got to stay consistent. Like, um, just a little background. Technically, I started this Substack in 2023, and then I stopped. I didn't like it for some reason, and then I came back in 2025, February, and I didn't miss a single day in 2025, except for one day where it was like a family emergency situation. So I think that you'll be rewarded by consistency, no matter what you're building. Um, so I'm not here to tell you how you can make money using AI, but telling you how I did it. Um, and then we got Nicolette saying I would. I think that means she would like to join. So I'll send her an invite, and then I will also send an invite to HIXM.
Before I go, I have a question for you.
Oh,
Uh,
you can stay in the chat bot. You can stay here, by the way. I can
y-
invite more people so there can be like
yeah, but I had to go anyway, so
okay, no problem.
I had a meeting later. Uh, so I don't know what was your first inspiration to start doing this on Substacks or writing, uh, and and I had the sense that it wasn't making money.
Yeah.
And what keeps you going when, let's say, or when you do you find your audience? Say, I'm a newbie here, right? I just started last week, literally last week. So obviously, not I don't think a single person has read what I what I wrote, but I'm reposting LinkedIn and I had a larger community there, so probably there I am finding some readers. And I know here's going to take me time to get to that point where my articles can be interested. So then, and how do you keep going? Like, how you find the courage to say, okay, I'm doing this. It's just for me. I'm going to reread it so someone can read it.
Yeah. I think it's like, that's a really good question. I think it's just there has to be that fire inside of you to just keep going. And I think, like, if you're interested in what you're doing, that's gonna help a lot. If you're doing something that's not interesting to you, that's not fun to you, then you probably won't be consistent with it. I'm also very, I like I kinda have, like, an addictive personality. So, like, when I start something, I wanna be really good at it, and I just go for it all the way. Like, I'll give you, like, an example unrelated to this, like, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I picked up a golf club for the first time, and I just became obsessed with it to the point where if I didn't swing a golf club, I felt like, I'm not getting better, you know? So I think it's just about, getting better and for yourself first. And I'm seeing something similar now too, which, by the way, I will mention, um, basically when I do these, with going live with viewers, I'm gonna be posting clips and videos, and I will tag you. I will tag your Substack. So hopefully that can also drag in some people to come and see your articles as well, if you're okay with that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it very
Okay,
much.
cool. Awesome. So yeah, basically, and again, I don't wanna keep it too long, even though, typically with these lives, I do them for about 30 minutes. So I've got about 5 minutes left anyways. Um, but basically, that I think that's one more thing in regards to that. So I recently started with YouTube as well, where I take these and I shift them off to YouTube as well, and I tag everybody there as well. And it's similar because it's when you're starting something new anytime, it all starts from zero. So and I try not to get obsessed with the numbers or anything like that, and watching the growth too much, and just sticking with it. So I think that it goes with anything. You know, if you exercise every day for a year, you're going to see results. If you
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I had too many questions for you. I think I want to do a podcast. So probably you'll be the first one I'm gonna invite because
Sure.
honestly, I'd be very inspired for what you do. So, and I think it's good to spread it around. And my last question, I thought this was the last one. Why do you pick Substack? Why Substack and no another platform to be this active?
It's a really good question. I think that it fit my idea of what I wanted to build with AI, and I like the fact that it's kind of like you have an email list basically. So every time I post an article, it gets sent out to all these people, and I think that's really special. And that doesn't, and also it didn't really feel like every other social media platform, especially when I started. Now it's starting to feel a little bit more like them. I feel like especially with the notes, because there's so many notes coming out that it kind of feels like Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but I think that feeling of this is not just any other social media platform is probably why I started here. And now I'm seeing, since I started doing these lives maybe 2 weeks ago, seeing no reason not to also convert to YouTube. So basically, I think that answers that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and I completely follow what you're saying because for me, I'm not on uh, TikTok or X neither, but I'm on Instagram. Uh, but I keep back and forth, and I was looking for a place where it can be a voice that people that really are interested can just find you, rather than searching for those massive likes, etc. And so yeah, well, thank you so much for the time and sharing your experience. I know it wasn't very specific on ChatGPT or AI, but I think everything gets combined because we're using AI for all of this now.
absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, man, thank you again for joining. So this is Marcial Hernandez M. I'm going to tag you everywhere that I post this. And yeah, guys, subscribe to Marcial. And thank you for joining me.
Only if you like pears and apples and grapes.
Yeah, I like
That
bears
was
and have
good.
grapes, so I will be
Yeah.
subscribing to you as well.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Bye
the
now.
weather there.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Marcial, again. Um, so yeah, I am kind of coming to the end of the 30 minutes that I allotted for the live. Um, but you know what? I'll extend it a little bit and we'll go for, I don't know, let's say 35 minutes or so. So I will send out an invite or two, and we'll see where that goes from there. Just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I think I might have an important message here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So let's see. We had, I think, two other people that wanted to join. I'll just see. I'll send out the invite, and then we'll probably just take this for another 5 minutes or so. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just. All right. Let's see. We had HIXM. Okay, HIXM, the invite should be out. And then I think we had one more, it was Nicolette Little. Okay, Nicolette Little. All right. Okay, so the invites were sent out to the last 2 people here, and yeah, like I said, typically I go on for about 30 minutes with these, but we'll,
Hey, and good afternoon.
hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm sorry about earlier. I was driving, but I really liked what you were doing here on this platform.
Thank you, thank you.
And you were talking, and I started following you. Actually, you were one of the first people that I was referred to, like when I joined a couple weeks ago. So I'm in the same boat as the last gentleman that like I subscribed immediately here. You were talking about like ChatGPT and how people are using it, and I was really interested to hear what he had to say more about him working in the food industry because I think a lot of farmers and people are using AI for predictive analysis and things like that. My personal situation is hi, good morning.
Good
I
morning. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I have a background in operations and project management, and I've done a lot of like high level government contracting. But with everything that took place last year, I needed to kind of start thinking outside of that box and using AI, using ChatGPT in particular. I've been able to do a number of things. One of the things actually why you see me still in my hat and coat, I started like working like as a loan signing agent. I've started doing things like in insurance, like other ways to kind of diversify my income. But even stuff like helping my mom go get compliant with the county on a family property that we own and that we've my aunt before she passed, she started having it rented out. We've been able to do like all types of compliance and like things that would take us months on end, like the average person without this knowledge to do. Um, I don't want to say without it, we wouldn't have been able to do it, but it would have taken a really long time. And so for me, like I use ChatGPT as more of a support system, as more of like an assistant, if you will. It helps with like writing and communication. And earlier you were telling the other gentleman about like, the more you feed it. And I get it, but like we've told people that we know personally secrets that probably screwed you over anyway. So this is not much different other than the fact that, they're not going to directly tell your family and your friends. So if you give it what you have and treat it like a conversation, I'm trying to get information from you, I'm trying to get an understanding on a new process, it really can help. Like it's a really good guide. And then the final thing I wanted to say is like I've used it a lot for like compliance to make sure that I'm compliant with different endeavors and things that I'm doing. I've used it. Somebody asked about study guides. I've used it for that. I've been able to feed it kind of like a PDF or like a PowerPoint deck and say, "This is what I've got, and can you quiz me on this?" So I've been able to use it a lot, and I have a paid plan, but when I get to a point where I can no longer use that thread, I ask it like, "Hey, summarize this because I wanna start a new thread based on this same concept or this same context." And it will give me that, and I can start a new thread, and I can kind of continue with that same memory that you were talking about. So I just wanted to put that out there that I do think, people have their qualms with AI in general, with automation, but it really can be a good help if it's used responsibly.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot there.
So rather than
There's a lot there. And so I think first thing that you said is so important is it's such a time saver. Like, so obviously I use AI for my newsletter, but I've used it in my personal life and I've also used it like in my business life. And I could just give you a quick example for me as well of something that I could have done on my own, but by using AI, I did it within seconds
Mhm.
rather than hours. So I won't go into too much detail, but basically, and I think anybody could do this. You know, if you work for a company, every company has expenses, right? And when you look at a company's expenses, usually you could break it down on a piece of paper, and you can go to your boss and say, "Hey," or if you run a business, and you can say, "Here are my expenses." Let's say I don't know, I got this type of paper and whatever it might be, and then you plug it into ChatGPT and say, "Find me better options and cheaper options." And when I did that, I was able to save the company a bunch of money within a few minutes and also get a spreadsheet with links that I could send out to other people in the office to basically just hands down just save us money. So and save us time. So I think it's such a great point, and I've heard, for example, I have a good friend on here. Um, we're in a group called Cozora, COZORA.org. It's a bunch of AI creators, and basically, my friend Joel Salinas, I think, stated it perfectly in regards to what you're saying. How do you find value with AI? Like, some people are looking to make a quick buck, while other people are saying, "What's the most valuable thing to me in my life?" And for me, that's my family, and for many people, it's their family. And he was saying, "I get so much more valuable time with my family now because things that used to take me X amount of time now take me, you know, nowhere near that. So now I get to spend more time with my wife and kids." And basically, yeah. Um, by the way, Nicolette, thank you for joining as well. I don't know if you had anything to add or if you have anything to say.
Well, I apologize. I lost the signal. Not to what you guys were talking about. I have a specific question about ChatGPT in general.
Okay.
Okay. So I use it a lot. I'm trying to decide whether or not using projects in ChatGPT seems to be working, but sometimes it loses context. And I know that I need to tell it to put things in memory specifically, right, on a regular basis. I don't know how often that might be. And then because I wanted to stay specific to a certain set of information that I'm giving it, I was trying to understand whether or not I should create my own GPT within chat, or can it use a RAG, right? So if I set up a separate memory database type of situation, can chat GPT call upon that as the front end, if you will, to keep the data locked into the context of what's in that particular rack or set of information. So is a GPT the way to go, or should I set up a RAG and then connect the two together? I really need it to be specific to the data set that I'm working with and nothing else. And then that data set, I might need to create another one for something else. And I needed to stay specifically with that context of information, have certain information in memory. So that's kind of where I'm looking for a little guidance or see if you have any experience with something like that.
Sure. I don't have any experience in setting up a separate GPT, so I'll just be upfront about that. Um,
Mhm.
but I found, and so before I get into that, I think it's kind of an unfortunate situation that you have to pay to get better memory capabilities.
Yeah.
But that's just the world we live in, until like they build bigger data centers, and basically it's limited.
Hmm.
So obviously, like, PT has different, paid tiers, and I'm pretty basic, I'm just on the $20 a month,
Yep.
and I found that for my purpose, that's enough, and like I was telling, the previous gentleman on here, Marcielo, I found that I don't have to outsource the data or memory to anything separate, and if I stay within the same chat, for the same thing that I'm building, it tends to flow better, and it tends to be able to stay on track just a little bit better. So basically, sometimes if you switch chats, it'll the flow is gone per se, and so basically, the best way to get back into the flow if you need to be on a new chat, I would say, is to you could just tell ChatGPT, look at this chat that we had titled X, and go into that chat, collect all the data, and I want to transfer everything from that into this new chat, and let's move forward from there.
So
Um,
let me ask you a question then, because the whole concept of the project within chat, right? The context between the chats within the project is supposed to contextualize everything. Are you saying that does not happen and just stay within a chat? So even if I created a project and I had multiple chats, stay within the one chat in order to guardrail, hallucinations and all this other stuff that it does?
I would say, yeah, it's for me at least. That's what works.
Okay.
When for example, like when I'm writing articles for my newsletter, like for example, I have a separate chat for ideas, and then basically because I can't come up with ideas every day, it's
Mhm.
just the territory of posting daily, and so because it knows me, it knows my newsletter, it knows what type of topics and ideas I like to cover. When I stay in that chat, the flow is just much better. If I were to leave that chat, yeah, I can give you an example that's not even related to my Substack.
Mhm.
I recently started with YouTube, literally like 3 days ago, because I realized I might as well if I'm doing these lives. Um, and
Mm.
so I had I had a chat open where I was trying to map out what it could look like in the future if I stay consistent the same way that I did on Substack. And and then later on that day, I opened up another chat accidentally asking a similar question, and the outputs were completely different.
Mhm.
And so then I had to go back and say, "Hey, why is it that in this chat titled whatever it was titled, it's you're giving me a completely different answer here?" So I think
Right.
that's kind of evidence of what we're talking about here. So, yeah,
Okay. Okay. Do
yeah,
you have can you tell me or share, in terms of how long you've been communicating in one chat? How long has it been?
well, a long time. Many,
Over
many
a year? Over a year?
probably not over a year, but definitely more than 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then finally, does it have the same issue in terms of tokens like Claude and other things when you're doing complex, work with it? So I've never seen that come up in chat.
I haven't seen, and also I don't have any experience with Claude, which I
Oh,
really need to, like, probably start, but
yeah.
it's, I haven't had that issue. I know
Right.
some people probably have. Well, actually, like, the to give some context, the reason why probably about a year ago I upgraded to the $20 per month for ChatGPT is because
Mhm.
I was limited on my image generation,
Right.
generate a lot of images.
Mhm.
So, that was actually my initial reasoning for upgrading.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
no problem.
I'll go ahead and drop if you wanna add someone in. I don't know how this
Oh, no, I mean,
works. You just hang
I'll
out?
keep you both in here. I mean, usually, like, I go for about 30 minutes. We're at, like, 42 now,
Oh, wow,
but
okay.
if either of you have anything else to add or any other questions, I'd be glad to go on for another couple minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I see I think somebody else said they kinda use the different AIs against each other. In certain things, I like Claude better. The reason I say his because I name them all, but because, I like the reasoning that Claude generates in terms of being a critique for other of the other AIs. And so right now what I need to do is focus on how to use the GPT within chat, so because you could create those GPTs down below and really kind of see how it's going to help with securing the context because like this other lady I'm in program management as well, so every time I go to a client I'm starting a brand new set of information, and if they call me back like one just did, I want to go back to just their set of information. I don't want it, going back. I'm like, how are you talking about this customer over here? I didn't bring that in, but some kind of way it is floating between information sets or context, and it'll start hallucinating. So one of the things that I'm focusing on right now is how do you use guardrails if you do to ensure that you're staying within a framework of some sort, or do you use guardrails at all?
Um, I would say so for me, like, when I speak about guardrails, it's a completely different context. I haven't had to use them in the context that you're speaking about.
Mhm.
I've had some, like, pretty weird experiences in conversations with ChatGPT that I posted about, and sometimes, like, I'll actually post the conversations.
Okay.
Um, so, like, guardrails and safety protocols that I speak about are more
Mhm.
so the guardrails and safety protocols that are set up by the companies um, who created these, LLMs. So, kind of like more taboo topics like consciousness and AI and things like that, and what it
Um,
means to build a form of intelligence, not guardrails
Yeah.
and in the context that you're talking about.
Mhm,
But also, by
mhm.
the way, I think that we should probably at least tell people what our names are. I think, well, you're Nicolette, right?
Yes,
Nicolette.
yes, yes.
My name is Lior. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
And
meet you too.
Brandy,
Brandy. Nice to meet you, Brandy.
both of you same.
Yeah.
I had a
Was there
question,
anything
I
else?
mean, an answer to a response to what Nicolette was saying, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Just because we have like very similar background and just hearing what you're saying, Nicolette, we
Mhm.
kind of take the same approach to setting this up. For example, for me, when I started my loan signing work, I work with people like as they're doing closings or refinances on their house.
Okay.
And as I was starting this thing up, I just wanted to kind of sanity check my work. But like you said, I can't conflate you with this person and that person and so forth.
Right.
And I've recently, and I mean when I say recently, I think in the last like 2.5 weeks, I've noticed that ChatGPT does this thing where it starts to conflate different contexts, totally different in different folders and everything, and it's starting to pull it all in together. And I have to talk to it like I'm talking to a person, like, this is completely separate from this.
Yes.
And I need you to only focus on this. And,
Right.
chat is good for gaslighting you, okay? It'll just immediately, or if it doesn't gaslight you, it definitely makes you feel like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're absolutely right. Full stop. Let's do, the terminology. You know what I'm talking.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you just tell it like, "Hey, let's reel this back in for a minute. I need to only focus on this file or only focus on that." And sometimes, like in my early days, it would tell me or prompt me to re-upload the photo or the file or whatever it is that I am trying to work with so that it can focus back solely on that.
Right. I know how to get it to not drift now. I'm just saying that when you start something in particular, there's some things that you could tell it to put in persistent memory so that it won't do that at the beginning. But
Yeah.
now my sophistication level is a little bit better than it was in the beginning. So the things that I'm doing is still creating issues. So I know what to tell it because I don't get the fluff anymore. I told it don't gaslight me. And so it doesn't do all that.
Mhm.
But certainly there's some technical issues going on with what I'm doing and the complexity of what I'm doing that's taxing it a little bit more than I think I realized in the very beginning. So I appreciate this forum. I just happened to look up on this. So I'm gonna have to subscribe and make
I appreciate it.
sure that I'm participating and listening to the things that you're putting out. It's good stuff. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate it. So, yeah, before we end here, I just wanna say everybody subscribe to Nicolette and to Brandy here. I will be doing the same. Gonna tag you guys I'm gonna tag you guys in everything that I post, if you don't mind, that I
Yes, please do. Yes.
Um, and, I'll just read off a couple last chats, and we'll leave it there. Chris Antonelli, he's a great guy. I did one of these before with him. He's a director from Microsoft.
Mm,
He left a couple messages here. He said $20 a month is so worth it, in my opinion, and
yeah.
I really agree.
Yeah.
Like, maybe just stop buying Starbucks and start paying for ChatGPT.
That
I
part.
just got my Starbucks. Look.
Yeah.
I
He
No.
mean,
said, "Imma do both."
yeah.
And then he says also, I constrain ChatGPT by using a single chat per topic and then prompt that chat to be constrained to the guardrails of the chat. So I think that answers Nicola's question.
Mhm.
Finally, he said, in regards to what you were talking about, turn off cross chat memory, in parentheses,
Mm,
full account data, settings, personalization, memory off. So I don't know
okay.
if you guys want to screenshot that, copy that.
Yep.
He's Chris is awesome. Thank you, Chris. But all right, guys, we're gonna end it there. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it. One more, Karen, Renee, are you concerned with upcoming ads? No, not really. It is what it is. They got to make money somehow.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Bye
Thank
now.
you.
you.
Very good to meet both of you. Have a good
Same
weekend.
same here. Bye-bye.
Bye.